tell somebody about a spot, and next thing you know, it's
it's blown up.
Yeah, it's blown up.
That's how surfers are.
You can't hold things too tight.
No.
And, clutch things too close to your chest.
But I guess like it wasn't easy.
No, look,
like,
but
shit,
New
we
York
had
wasn't easy.
New York
back then.
wasn't
like,
easy,
New York
exactly.
was a tough place.
Yeah.
It's like New York in the '80s was like the land of decadence, for crying out loud. It was like, Studio 54 vibe, and crime and punishment. It was just brutal. But when you translate that down, Far Rock was tough. There was a lot of there was a lot of guns, there was a lot of violence. And there was definitely a cultural divide between, me being an Irish kid and, like, black culture and black, and just a mix of a melting pot. New York City.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans, black people, white, brown, polka dot, spotted, dotted, it didn't matter. I don't care what you are.
Yeah.
Gay, straights, polka dotted or spotted, yeah. But that's kind of, like I said, I have fond memories of back then because I knew everybody out in the water. And now, not so much.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it any more,
No.
less.
But I
Good or
mean,
bad.
no, I'm not saying it's bad, but like, it was also like sketchy as fuck. Like, I mean, like talking. I remember talking to Peter Egan, and he would tell me stories of like getting jumped coming home from school. It was always like a bit of an adventure trying to get from one place to another.
There was definitely that. I mean, you have to remember it was like crack was rampant in the 80s. There was a lot of things that like were the impetus for a lot of violence and crime and everything in New York City. And just because you live at the beach doesn't mean that doesn't happen on land. So I remember driving, down into the 60s. We used to surf like beach 60 something back in the day. And that's when the boardwalk ran the whole way down.
Yeah.
But it was elevated, so you could actually drive under the boardwalk and park your car underneath the boardwalk. It was amazing. So you could see it from the water.
Yeah.
Because you needed to, because someone would break into it because there were crack whores down there. And it was just vacant lots the whole way down. And this is in the era of Benzie boxes. Do you remember what a Benzie box was?
No.
Okay, so Benzie boxes were a sleeve radio. You could pull your radio out.
Oh yes, I remember.
Put it into the sleeve in the open area in the center console of your car.
Yeah.
So you could pull it out and you could slide it under your seat.
I
so
remember.
Like people would look in like, oh, they don't have a radio. Someone
Yeah.
must have stole it or they don't have it. So we do that. You know how many Benzie boxes I lost in like the 80s? Oh my God, it's ridiculous. To the gods.
And like, also, but it was like surfing was illegal, in the summer particularly.
Yeah, that kind of came later when people, because Rockaway, I love how everyone's like, Rockaway's found out now, but it's always been here, and it's always been under people's noses. And it's funny because I remember telling people to come here, like this is later when I was in like high school and stuff, or even college age, people would go and they go out to the Hamptons.
Yeah.
And I was like, good luck sitting in 3 hours of traffic. You can come to my house and park on my driveway or whatever, and we can be on the beach in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
No, going out there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go surf. So, it's like anything. It's like, it's trendy, I guess, or like there's the hot new neighborhood, there's the hot new beach, there's the hot new everything, It's just the way things work. It cycles through.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Rockaway was a tough place, of course, growing up. But
who were some of
it wasn't all bad.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I know it was.
Things happened, and it was, like I said, it was New York in the 80s. It was a violent place.
It was an interesting place.
Yes.
To say the least. It was like there was a profound amount of freedom, that you had. You could do anything almost, and no one gave a fuck. Sure. You could throw a party and no one was going to harass you.
If you're at the beach,
you could have bonfires on the beach then,
walking until the end of, a pier and nobody's there.
Yeah.
Like, you get to the beach and you're at the end. You're going to get wet if you go any further, and no one cared about the beaches. Lifeguard shack parties were some of the best parties ever.
Oh, really?
Oh my God.
Can we delve into some of those?
Oh, they're kind of sketchy. This is going to be so un-PC, but they used to have death kegs. Oh my God, this is so bad. I'm sorry, this is so bad, but it was what they were called. So if you were a lifeguard sitting on a beach in Rockaway and someone drowned on your beach,
you'd
have to buy a keg for the shack.
Pour one out.
Pouring out for the homies, yes. So, but you go down there and you're like, sweet, there's a death keg. Sorry, it's the truth. I didn't make it up. I just went to them. So don't hate the messenger.
No. This is amazing.
But they were so crazy, and there weren't a lot of them, thank God, but there was enough of them.
That's how you deal with the stress. That's how you deal with the stuff that you process it. You know.
I mean, if someone wants to get drunk and go swimming in their jeans, things happen.
Yeah. No, it does. Yeah. Wow, those parties must have been pretty wild then.
Yeah, they were fun. From what I can remember. Good times.
Who were some of the people you looked up to when you were growing up surfing? Like who were the main guys, main people?
Well, I mean, there's kind of two factions for that one. Like I lived uptown, and it was like people like Sundance Farrell and Jay Friedhand, and actually both Friedhands and all the Farrell boys and Dennis Farrell.
Yeah.
And just a smattering of people like Jay O'Brien, all these different people who are up there.
Can you give our listeners who Dennis Farrell was? Because
Dennis
to me he has
literally the OG of Rockaway.
He's like should be, if there was a New York Surfing Hall of Fame, like he should be kind of inducted in it. Absolutely. I feel like
he's kind of the overseer of the gods here. I just saw him today, oddly enough. He started surfing and got everybody into surfing and would drive us out to ESA contests like out in Montauk.
Yeah.
And he shaped for a minute, but that came later. Yeah. But even before, like he was always surf. It was like his passion and his drive that drove all of us, because if someone's that passionate about something, of course you want to follow them.
Yeah, of course.
So that was it.
And then, so that was the crew uptown.
That was the crew uptown. Then there's the downtown crew, which was, but we surfed all over because it was like wherever the waves are the best, obviously. So we came downtown, and here's the shout out for Mr. Jimmy Dowd, the new mayor of Rockaway. Yeah. So we used to make fun of Jimmy, but it was like, back then it was like Umberto, Richie Allen, God rest his soul, which the contest is for right now. Like Frankie McGrory, just a handful of people. But Jimmy Dowd used to come down, and we used to make fun of him. He definitely.
He's coming from
it was trial by fire. So Jimmy would come down. Of course, you're out in the water, and you'd see somebody coming up over the boardwalk, and you look around, you're like, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's out that we know. Who the fuck is? Oh, it's Jimmy Dowd. So he would walk over. It was a guy from Jersey. It was either or. So he'd come out, and he'd paddle out, and we're like, hey, there's no waves in Howard Beach. Just had to give him shit.
Yeah.
But he, he earned his stripes, and now he's the mayor of Rockaway. He still owns it. I mean, he's got a surf shop here, Borders. He's got his printing business. He's, a big proponent for the skate park. Like, made that happen, made the concrete park happen. He does rock stock every year. I mean, he's like, the guy's a machine.
It's unreal. It's unreal. Like, his energy. Yeah. I don't understand how he just keeps going too, and he's got kids.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah, and he's hustling, like he's, running the shop.
But here's the thing about Jimmy.
Yeah,
he's such such a positive soul. He wants everybody to be happy, and he wants to bring up everybody around it. That's part of like what Rockstock is. Yeah, it's like he just wants to have a good time.
Absolutely,
and it just shines through, and it's true.
He's what we would call a mensch.
I just surfed with him today too.
Yeah,
he is a mensch. I don't know what the Italian what's the Irish guy growing up in an Italian neighborhood like Howard Beach? What would they call that?
I don't know, man.
Mama Luke? No, that's when you're a little slow.
Goomba?
Well, he's a little
Goomba,
bit that too. Goomba.
No, I don't know. I'm just going from my Jewish heritage here.
What would he be?
I would call him a mensch for sure.
He'd definitely be a mensch. We'll keep it with the Yiddish.
But I mean, it's so that was like your kind of crew. Like, who were you surfing with mostly? Who were you kind of pushing your surfing with? Because you were doing some of the contests too.
A little bit. When I was younger, I didn't do that one contest. That was more like the Farrells. Dennis was driving that whole thing, and Sonny was so good that was just ridiculous. You just go and let him win everything for us. And other aspects come into your life, and it's just surfing. I didn't want surfing to be just like a competition. I didn't care about winning or anything. It was more about like free surfing, quote unquote.
Did you
just having a good time?
Did you go to college? Go to university?
I went to USC.
You did?
I did.
Damn. So
I
you left
for the team too.
So is that how, like, because you are extremely well known in the surf industry, in the surf world. It's like you have the. You are like people like, you're from New York, Pat Conlon. Like it's always, kind of 6 degrees of Pat Conlon.
Oh my God! Oh, I can't believe you just said that. Okay. That's funny.
But I mean, it's kind of true, no? I mean, is that how going out to school out west? Is that how?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, my parents worked for TWA.
Yeah. No, I'm just fixing something here. Yeah, go on.
My parents worked for TWA, so I flew for free. I had buddy passes and things like that.
Wow.
So I was like, am I going to drive upstate and go sit in the snow in September, or am I going to go out to Southern California? Because at this point, I'm like really getting into surfing, and why not, kill two birds with one stone, make myself happy, get an education, and be in California. That doesn't sound like a bad idea now, does it?
I tried. I couldn't get into any schools out there.
Well, there's that too. Yeah.
I had to settle for a Flagler in North Florida.
Well, that'll work.
It worked.
Still warmer.
It was affordable.
Yeah, there's that too.
So is that like kind of where you kind of started to expand out your network out there, or?
Well, yeah, that's kind of what happened, because I was in the arts program, and I ended up at the time, it was funny because Wahoo's Fish Taco branched out, and they did a Wahoo's on campus, or off campus, and it was the first one with a bar.
Yeah.
And I ended up going in there, and I ended up becoming a bartender at the Wahoo's Fish Taco. And through that, I was introduced to Wing Lam. And Wing's the guy who started all of Wahoo's. So we took a shine to me, and he brought me down. He's like, I like you. Come on, I want to introduce you to some of my friends. So he brought me down to Orange County, down to Costa Mesa, where the other Wahoo's was.
Yeah.
The other empire. So I went down there. He introduced me to this guy, Alibaba. And Alibaba did Beach Happy magazine.
Yeah, I've heard of this guy. He is legendary.
He is a maniac, yeah. I got some great Alibaba stories, too. I went to Hawaii with Alibaba.
Israel Paskowitz used to call me Alibaba in surf camp because he said I reminded him of him. Oh, and I never got to meet the guy.
God, really?
Yeah.
That's.
I was 12, so.
Yeah, Alibaba was kind of the mindset of a 12-year-old, for sure. Oh my God! So he got coined Alibaba because he always wore a T-shirt on his head. So he'd go through, and he wore a sarong, a T-shirt, and a T-shirt on his head, and he would go through this. He would go through ASR back in the day, and like sling his free newspaper.
Yeah,
which was Beach Happy. So,
which I believe David Carson did some design for, didn't he?
No, that was later with Jamie Brissett. Yeah. They did Blue or something.
No, I remember Blue, but also I think he did some.
Not Blue. They did Big Sur or something. I can't remember. I'm escaping it, but he did it with Jamie, and they did that magazine. But David Carson was over at Surfer.
Yeah, Surfer. Yeah.
But it was all kind of incestuous stuff because Steve Zeldo was there. And that's why I met Zelda, who's doing international surf, which is the kind of started out with Alibaba, and then they split, and Alibaba was doing Beach Happy, and Zelda was doing international surf. So, and Wing was the just the ringleader of everything. It introduced me to everybody.
Beach Happy was like, to me, was like the West Coast version of Eastern surf. It
Correct.
Reminded me,
Exactly.
Nailed
it. Dead ass. So that was it. Yeah. But it literally just circled around everybody in the industry. I'll never forget it, because it was like back then, Black Flies was just starting. Yeah. Volcom was just starting. All these brands were starting.
Lost in all of them,
Lost, yeah. I painted the side of Alibaba opened up a surf shop called the Boarding House, basically based on all people who advertised in the magazines. So he would like, if they couldn't pay, he would just get free surfboards, and he'd get free clothes. And he's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna open up a surf shop just based on